Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and I'm back again to do another instructional videos that you must own. This time we're talking about the great one, the humbler, Mr. Danny Gatton, and his first Hot Licks video entitled Telemaster. Great video, one of the first few videos I picked up. It's 85 minutes long. I'm going to tell you why it's worth watching, and if you are so inclined you can pick yourself up a copy on Amazon, link below. It's a relatively cheap video and an inspiring one to watch. So, Danny Gatton. Who is Danny Gatton? Well, Danny Gatton, as I said, is the humbler. Danny Gatton is the master of the Telecaster. In fact, why don't I cut in some footage so you can see Danny playing. Danny could really play the guitar. Now, unfortunately, Danny is no longer with us. Danny committed suicide many years back due to the pressures of life. And that's a tragic loss for the music scene. And that's ultimately one of the main reasons why this is a must-own video, because it's one of the few official video releases of Danny's playing. So it's a great way to get inside the mind and playing of such a great player. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Danny is an eloquent teacher. Danny's not an academic teacher, though he has a lot to offer. In fact, he throws out lots of comments on this video that are going to make you laugh based on his approach to music in general. Check some of those out.
It's like a B minor on the bottom. I don't really know a whole lot about music theory because I'm an ear player. But if you play this chord in harmonics, it sounds like this particular chord here. I have no idea what the name of it is. I guess it's some sort of a major ninth. I use it in lieu of an A major chord. It's kind of a magic chord I've looked for all my life. If we were playing very bluntly from a kind of a non-educated musician like myself, self-taught, learned it all the hard way, is to play in the wrong key, basically. If you're like me and you really don't like to sit around and practice much, if and when I do every couple of years, I'll plug in this.
But if you're able to dig through a lot of that, what you'll find is lots of great information, tips and tricks on how to get the most out of your chord playing and your use of the Telecaster. Danny was big on using the volume and tone knobs to get the most out of his instrument. In fact, here's a little clip of that so you can see a combination of both volume knob, which is used to create a pedal steel type sound, and also the tone knob, which gives you a faux onboard wah. Now, as I say, Danny was a huge influence on me, and watching this video really did impact my direction as a player, my use of chords, even my approach to things like harmony, taking a more cavalier attitude to things. And I've paid tribute to that with a Telecaster that I've just finished putting together, inspired by this very video. You can see we got the Barden pickups. I've always had that in this guitar, but I've wanted one of these metal dingus mounting plates that Danny has on his Telecaster in that video, and yep, thanks to Carson Hess, I finally have one of those, which is very cool and a fitting tribute to such a great player. Danny's influence on me was huge. There's no avoiding that. but it hasn't come from copying licks that are shown to you on this video. Now, while there obviously are examples of licks that he shows you, like this one.
This is a B minor, sort of a B minor lick that goes like this. Where's that coming from? Okay. Years ago when I was...
It was always more of his cavalier attitude to music that I found more inspiring. He plays a lot. His ability to explain things is there to a degree, but it's really seeing how he approaches things that I found fascinating. How he would take a chord and manipulate it and mutate it and turn it into the thing that he needed in the setting that was going to work for him. I remember there's a great section on here where he talks about playing chords with the melody on top, and he's got particular voicings that he uses for those, and he just plays this lovely little improvised thing based around Sugarfoot Rag that he says, you know, would impress your folks. And he's right, it's musical but not planned out. There's a jazz attitude to everything that he's doing, and I always found that very cool. Check it out.
It worked at my house.
Now, Danny is often miscategorized as a country player because I assume people have seen that he plays a Telecaster, therefore he must be a country guy. Danny's not really a country player by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think of him as a country guy, and although I have him featured in my upcoming country book, Country Licks, Danny doesn't have a whole lot of material that you would call country. In fact, he plays a whole lot more rockabilly than he does country. Danny's really a jazz guitar player that happened to play a lot of blues and you know, overdriven sounds. There's definitely a country sensibility to things, but I think of Danny as being a jazz and rockabilly player. And there's, again, a great section on rockabilly guitar in this video that showcases that side of his playing. And when you hear him do that kind of thing, you hear it and you don't think, oh yeah, cool country guitar player. You hear it and go, he's at home there. Very cool. Check it out. And some of the cooler sections, or some of Danny's more well-known live tricks, is the slide guitar thing, though he would often do this with a beer bottle to give that kind of balls to the wall, rock and roll, just doing things that take me in the moment type playing, which is very cool. He demonstrates some of that on this video, though using an Alka-Seltzer bottle, which doesn't have quite the same effect, but again, it gives you that idea of what you can do if you're willing to just experiment. And he talks about where this concept came from and why he's able to do it, and gives you a lot of tips and pointers on how you can do this sort of thing yourself. Now, is this the sort of thing that you would teach academically? No, probably not. Is this a very cool trick that you can use in a live setting to grab people's attention and therefore be remembered? Yes, absolutely. And Danny always toes that line between what you'd expect to learn in school versus what you would want to use out in the real world. This is cool. Check it out.
Be a steel player years ago, so I more or less, knowing how to play slide that way, have applied it to guitar this way. thing feels a little different than the beer bottle, but with standard tuning, I haven't got time.
So all in all, not the most informative DVD. This is not going to be a substitute for a good teacher. In fact, if anything, this is the sort of thing that you would use as a supplement with a good teacher, so they can look at things and break things down and explain what's going on and why things work and why they're cool. Because Danny doesn't really display that. Danny doesn't explain that. I saw this video for the first time over 10 years ago now, and I cannot honestly say that I have digested all the content. In fact, watching it again in order to put this video together, I saw things that I'd seen before, but I now understood in a much more detailed way than I did the first time I saw this video. So again, it's one of those videos, much like the Scotty Anderson video, where there's lots of viewing required in order to absorb all of the information. But you can't look at that as a bad thing. That's very cool. So the last thing that Danny does on here is there's an outro jam, again showing his more balls to the wall cavalier attitude. He plays a lot of chordal tricks and things, and he starts as he's playing to detune the low string on the guitar to change the range of the instrument. Something like this is super cool to me because it's very much an in the moment thing, and you have to be very experienced to get that kind of thing to work. There are guys that make that thing work, like Jim Campolongo, obviously. But seeing Danny do this here in a kind of live, one-take studio setting, again, very cool, very inspiring, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. So there we have it, Danny Gatton's Telemaster. A must-watch video. As I say, probably not going to substitute for a good teacher, but it's going to inspire you to pick up the guitar and play some music, because Danny was excellent at that. If you already have this, I'd also recommend you check out Licks and Tricks, which is a full instructional video that's available on YouTube. It's an old out-of-print video that's actually pre-Telemaster and showcases, again, a lot more of Danny's licks and tricks, as you'd expect. It's very well shot, very good camera angles, very well explained. He doesn't do quite as much playing on that one, which is kind of why this one is cool, because you get to see that live playing type thing. Well worth checking out. Lastly, I would like to extend a huge thank you to these people over here. These people are my patrons on Patreon. Well, these guys support me at a $10 or more tier, and they help to make videos like this happen. We're hoping to improve these videos even more in the next couple of weeks. This microphone is getting replaced in a few days, and well, I'm not going to spoil it, but we've got something even cooler coming that's going to make things sound even better, hopefully. So if you would like to be like these awesome people, you can check me out over on Patreon and join me for, well, as little as $1 actually, and that gives you access to my private patron-only Facebook group. Lots of cool stuff, transcription challenges and exclusive videos, and, well, discussion on where these videos should be going. So if you would like to join us over there, you can do so by clicking this button up here. You can subscribe to me by clicking this little button down here, and there's 2 more of my videos here and here that you can check out for more of my content. I'm putting a lot of time and energy into this content, and hopefully you guys are finding things that you enjoy. If not, I apologize. But keep coming back because I'm sure there'll be something you will like. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you for another video soon. Bye.